Amend the Mass Media Group is California Capital's premier YouTube channel focused on reparations, dedicated to political advocacy and apologetically aimed at shining a spotlight on our righteous justice claim for reparations.
I put my hand up to stop the truck. I was just getting to the point of the matter of that. I think this might have been what triggered the officer. I was reading this book. It was in the car, and it might have just triggered him in some way. But yes, I got to about the third lane over on the opposite side of the freeway, held up my hand like you see in the movies, and literally the truck stopped right in front of my hand. And that's why I say, like, I'm only here by the grace of God. I got some way, like I said, my adrenaline was pumping. I matrixed my way up to the top of the truck. I know I just remember telling Kim that, I said, I know for sure. I said, listen, man, I'm sorry to get you involved in this, to the guy in the truck, while I'm making my way up to the top. And, as we discussed, my father was a military war hero. And, one of his favorite things to say was, if you're ever in a conflict situation, get to the high ground. And I feel like I did that where everybody on the freeway could see what was happening to me. I got 31 guns pointed at my head. I'd been tased through the chest at this point, called racial slurs, hand broken. And, it was just, it was the ultimate, I don't even know what you call it, but, it was a horrible experience for myself that I just couldn't fathom it. I didn't know what to do, So, I mean, I was, I just seen George Floyd die, and like I said, I would like to be, perfect, but no one is. And, I definitely got up there on the top of that truck. And when the guns were pointed at me, I mean, I went to the same schools as them. And I say to myself, do not go gentle into that good night. So I did not want to go quietly to death. And so I gave him a piece of my mind. That's for sure. I'll just say that much. I gave him a piece of my mind.
So you stopped the truck, and then from when you stopped the truck, is that when the police officers came? Like, can you kind of like elaborate from what you
I mean, they were
at that point, like because I know we had a brief conversation about all of a sudden you saw these officers upon you. At what point in time did all these officers come?
Oh, they were headed from everywhere, Okay. Just in case I crossed the freeway and kept trying to run, they were coming from there. They were coming from on top. They had the dogs out. So, I mean, what direction were they coming from? All directions. And then they had stopped. They had basically stopped the traffic by that time on the other side of the freeway. So it was a lot of those police coming across the freeway. And then on this side of the freeway, like I said, the truck itself had stopped. The Mack truck had stopped. And so, obviously stuff couldn't go through there. And slowly but surely they got the rest of the people to stop, and then the people themselves, started stopping and being like, what are you doing? The guy's unarmed, that type of thing. And that's probably what really saved my life, is the people of the Bay, came together, and really just, they could have driven on, but they were, they really asked the cops questions. It was like, what the hell is going on? The guy's unarmed, because I lifted up my shirt just to show everybody, I don't have anything, guys. I don't know what the hell's going on, I definitely didn't scream like help or anything, but I felt like it, like somebody help me. But the Bay came to my defense already, who do you get to help you, when the cops are, that's who you're trying to get help from. But when they're trying to do something to you, you just don't get the same, who do you go to? And like, that's my whole thing with this whole case. Like, okay, great. You say I did all these things. Where's the internal affairs report? That's a part of this thing too. Where is internal affairs on this? And so I'm just disappointed in the whole system, and like I said, it's been years. They charged me after over a year, after I sued them, a retaliatory charging on me after a year, because I sued them because they, I'm maimed for life, my brother. I'm literally maimed for life now, and no one knows how this is going to be in 10 years from now. No one knows if this arthritis is going to set in on my hand, next month, for all I know. And so, they have to be held accountable for this, man, and just everything. It's so much illegal things that they did. We aren't even off the freeway yet. So, like, there's more. So ask me a question, I'll tell you no lies.
Okay, so I just want to understand. So at this point, because I haven't seen the footage yet.
That's fine.
So
you seen the ABC report, though?
I haven't seen anything.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Straight off, I'm asking you questions like I don't even know what's happening.
I got you. Okay.
That's one reason why I didn't want to see the footage, because I just want to.
Good deal.
I
hear you.
The process, right? So when you got to, I'm just trying to understand. Were you ever on top of the truck, or you just stopped?
No, I was on top of the truck.
So when did you actually? So you stopped the truck, and then when did you get on top of the truck?
Immediately.
Okay.
Like, I was getting to the high ground. Like, when he stopped for me, I said, stop. He didn't run me over. I was done. If he decided to just keep going, it was over. But by the grace of God, he stopped. Yeah. I got on top of the truck, and I don't even remember how. I got to be honest with you. That's why I said I matrixed myself up there somehow. Like, literally, I know, I think I might have, like, gone around. I think I did. I think I went around the other side of the truck and jumped up there, and that's when I said I'm sorry to that guy in the passenger window, and got to the top of the truck. I know, because I was thinking when I stopped the truck that there's guns aimed at my head, and I don't want them to shoot. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure I went around the other. Matter of fact, I'm almost positive I went around that side of the truck. There was like a step there, because they have those steps to get up in the trucks. I stepped on those, and instead of like trying to get in the truck, went to the top.
Okay. And then at that point, when did is that when the police and everybody
gathered around me?
Gathered around you on the truck?
No.
With the guns drawn? Okay.
No. So they gathered on the ground. They were on the ground. First, they had to slow traffic. People in traffic were slowing themselves already and saying, what the hell you doing? Because the first thing I did when I got up there was I lifted up my shirt so everybody would know I was unarmed, put my hands back on the top of my head one more time, because this is California law. Am I being arrested or detained? You need to tell me something, Still getting no answers. They're talking about, we're going to get you. You already have me, man. Where am I going to go? You know what I mean? I'm not Houdini. And so, it was, I got one cop getting a pack of Marlboros and being like, hey, it was a big joke to them. It was a big joke,
So at that point, just to kind of give us a little context from what the ABC report and what footage is.
Sure.
So is that what they have currently as the footage?
Some of that, yeah. When it was obvious, at first I was sitting down, had my hands on my head, like I said, am I being arrested or detained? No one would talk to me, no one would say anything. They just had their guns on my head. And that
was when you were on the truck, is that correct, or were you on the ground?
No, I was on the truck. The first time I got a gun pointed to my head was by Officer LaRock. He's the one that took care of this whole thing. David LaRock, he did the whole damn thing, he started this whole institution, this whole thing going, and I don't so much blame a lot of the other guys because once he got it started, you know what I mean, they can't pull back. You feel me? They got to go with him onto where they're going now. And so, this guy, I have no words to say about this guy. I mean, point of the matter is, he doesn't need to be in a badge at all. That's just the reality of it. Talk to me.
Okay, so after, so you're on the truck, and then we have this parts of footage that they have. So what happened when, did they like pull you off the truck? How did you get from the truck down to the ground?
Well, it was a long time before that happened, right? Like I said, it lasted about an hour and a half, So, it lasted, I was on that top of that truck for a good hour, 15 minutes.
With you didn't have any weapons?
No weapons, no nothing, my brother, nothing.
Just up there?
Yeah, just up there on the truck, guns pointed at my head, probably for about the first hour, 45 minutes to an hour, just 31 guns pointed at my head. There's one guy, you can hear him on the video saying, I'm going to blast him if he comes this way. And like I said, they were doing a lot of, it was just childish, man. They were, doing the stuff, I had officers doing that. I had another officer, like I said, with the cigarettes coming to me like, hey, come get your cigarettes, And then another officer going, hey, we're going to get you, that type of stuff. And, I was like, I just felt like a wild animal. I felt like they were wild animals, and I just felt like, to be honest with you, I felt like a lion being like hunted by a pack of wild hyenas. That's how I felt. I was up there the whole hour, and I was, you seen my commercial. I was Manny Smith for governor, and, I'm going to be the next governor. The governor was going up and down his recall. So I think, I was saying that more to say, I'm somebody important and don't shoot. You know what I mean? And one of these cops might, think twice about shooting, because I'm a real political candidate, I definitely said some horrible things to him. I definitely said, F off. And, after, mind you, my hands on my head, they wouldn't answer, so I'm not going to die with a knee on my neck at this point. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die calling you cowards and bitches and whatever else, and so that's how I got to that point, where like, okay, these guys can't be reasoned with at this point. So you're going to kill me anyway. I might as well say what the hell I have to say. Well, I never actually got onto the ground. After the truck happened to be carrying hot asphalt, and so they were plotting on, they were trying to bring the dog up there to get me on the truck, like through this little, like where the ladder is, through that little intersection. And when they did that, I basically was like, okay, I'm going to have to move my position here because they're going to put this dog on me. I can't touch the dog or it's a felony, I'm beating an officer, that type of charge, And so I moved myself to the back bed of the truck. But now I was on top of the tarp where there was the asphalt wasn't there. They immediately lifted the tarp and basically tried to enclose me in the tarp, And so obviously I got out of the tarp, and then that's when, they're all coming over me. Now they took my position on the top of the truck. I got a whole bunch of them behind me, a whole bunch of them in the front jumping, and they, I just felt cornered and caged, and I just start flailing my arms as quickly as possible, trying to act like, I'm picking up some stuff and throwing it, But to be honest with you, it was 400-degree heat, asphalt, and a public test can show, they were saying that people are picking up clumps and things like that. It's impossible. You know what I mean? Especially at the rate my arms were moving. I hope that you'll look at the ABC footage. I hope that you will make it big on your screen and slow that footage down. And you'll see there's nothing coming out of my hands. It's basically like Tiananmen Square where the guy was just standing in front of a tank, but he couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. They had guns and tasers and whatever else. And there were about 12 of them in there, and they literally, you know, it was, I couldn't even take the force of all of them. I had two guys jumping off, at least two guys jumping off from the back, on my back. Then they tased me again, came in and just roughed me up real good, man. And I tried to put my hands like this. I knew I knew one of the officers was just gonna say, I reached for his gun and shoot me in the head. And I just kept on saying, I kept my hands like this, and I kept saying, help me, St. Betty, help me, St. Betty, help me, St. Betty, help me, St. Betty. And eventually, and I said, help me, St. Betty. And eventually, they cuffed me. They put the cuff, because remember, I had the one loose cuff right here. And then they just took that cuff and put it on here. And then they drugged me out of there. When they were all around me, I had one guy down here messing with my shoe. My knee popped out of socket, took my shoe off, my right shoe. That's how, and then they dragged me across the asphalt. Now it was 12 of them, 2 of them in the front, I guess. You know, they said I went unconscious for a second, but I was pretty much right back up. But they drugged me across the concrete. I know I was, you know, out of it, but in it, because they literally tried to drop my balls in the hot asphalt, when I have the scars to show it, you know, on my buttocks. And so they tried to castrate me out there and take away my manhood in every word, form, and fashion of the way you take a man's manhood away. But like I said, by the grace of God, I made it. Lucky for me, I was handcuffed.